be good.
What's up, Chipper Chaps? This is Chipper Chap Chat episode 149.
Yay.
I'm FooRay.
And I'm Chamba.
And we're gonna talk about some stuff. Probably like some comic book stuff.
Comic book related things in other media, mainly.
And other types of fun stuff. And you guys will be like, is this stuff cool? We'll be like, anyway, let's get into it.
That's wild.
So, what's the thing on the list today?
We got a couple of things. We have 2 trailers and a bunch of other information, primarily involving Disney stuff. It's very Disney heavy.
Disney Plus?
Mainly Disney
stuff?
Plus and Disney movies that are upcoming.
Okay.
All right, so first thing, so the next Star Wars trilogy, they're already talking about it.
This is the Benioff and Weiss one, the Game of Thrones guys?
I think it might be that one.
Okay.
That one is, they said that new trilogy begins 2022.
2022.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all the information that they've got. They just announced it. And I was like, so this one ends and
it's filming or will come out 2022?
I think released then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I guess that's cool, but I don't know anything about it right now, so pardon me if my excitement is mostly non-existent.
Right.
If they can't really make me give too much of a shit with all the characters and names we've heard of before.
Yep.
I'm really curious how they're gonna really drive it home with this next one. If they're going like, okay, so we're doing a new thing, so this stuff is not trapped by any Star Wars thing we've done before other than lightsabers exist and they have magical telepathy. Everything else is new and fresh. And then I'm like, yeah, man, go ahead. I think it'd be cool if the new trilogy, rather than going Old Republic, if they do a time skip ahead, like 150 years,
I'm
new
with you
religion,
I'm
Jedi,
with, I'm definitely
Skywalkers versus the whatever the new Sith are, what are Knights of Ren?
Yeah.
Knights of Ren versus the Skywalkers, and it's like 150 years in the future.
Let's see it.
She's like old, or she's not there, but she's like she lived to be old and train a bunch of people, and now she's legendary like Yoda, and she can be a Force ghost or some crap.
Oh, not at all.
You know, and then if they want to show her later on in her like 50s, just wait until she's 50 and she wants to do it. You know what I'm saying?
As cool as the Knights of the Republic film could be, I would love to see something that is very far off into the future. As opposed,
I want to take me forward, don't take me back. I don't want to see worse technology and shitty stuff.
Right.
I want to see what this universe looks like when it has had some time.
The future of this universe.
To me, episode 1, all their tech looked better than the tech in the films after that.
That's why to me that was always a weird thing.
Always.
And I know people were like, oh no, it transitioned from really like this and then it, in between it became garbage. And I'm like, yeah, but the design's completely changed. It's almost like the history from episode 4 prior never existed.
It's like they went like back.
Yeah.
They got sent backwards in time somehow technologically. Like everything was all like chromed up and gangster looking in that movie. And they were like, nah, we're good with that. Now everything's gonna be like dirty and grimy and Falcon with movie and all this different stuff. I it's just weird. I'd like to see evolved Star Wars rather than devolved Star Wars. We've seen that already.
But I'm sure the fans of the current that may not like the current, maybe they'll get into this stuff.
Maybe they will, or maybe
they won't.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, that might be the thing. Up next, so Hulu is actually still doing Marvel live action shows.
Right. They were still doing Runways.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the second season of that yet.
Right. So what Hulu has recently announced is for their live action stuff.
Yeah.
Runaway season 3. Helstorm. And GhostRider.
That's the one, man.
That's the one. It seems though like, okay, we've got the Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah.
Those ones are directly linked to the movies. Directly linked to the MCU. Yeah. We've got the stuff on Hulu, which is not connected, but still Marvel stuff.
Still.
I think I quite like that.
Yeah.
Where we can have these Marvel characters, they don't all have to take place, within the same realm. Kind of like how Gotham and the Arrowverse, I guess, weren't part of the same thing.
Right.
I'm excited for Ghost Rider, man.
Neither of those things, Gotham nor Arrow, were supposed to be connected to the movie universe.
Right, exactly.
It would have been different if they were both saying, we're both connected to those movies, but we're not connected to each other.
That's the problem with S.H.I.E.L.D. for me.
That's a weirder thing.
Yeah, that was the problem with S.H.I.E.L.D. for me.
The only thing that makes it, well, that's not true. S.H.I.E.L.D. did try to connect the other way. They had Coulson in there. They had Sif showed up.
Nick Fury appeared. Yeah.
They've done people going the other way.
From movie to show, but never from show to movie. The only one that's actually...
Specifically the show first and then the movie.
Yes.
Except for in game.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that here, just in case. Although I think the
spoiler ban has been lifted.
Have to not talk about it.
Yeah.
Is now done or whatever.
The spoiler ban has been lifted, but we're not going to mention it because it's not cool.
It's fine. We'll figure it out.
Right.
The movie.
But Ghost Rider and the same fella's going to play him.
I like Ghost Rider. Gabriel Luna.
Yep.
He's good, man.
Yeah, he was great.
He was one of the better parts of that show. I was showing clips to my roommate the other day of him on the show because he didn't know they did a TV Ghost.
What did he think?
He thought it was looked pretty good for TV. And I was like, I wish that they had let that character migrate into the Netflix universe because I feel like his style and aesthetic and everything lends itself to that dark and gray. Like I'd love to see him in the Luke Cage Daredevil universe.
Oh, dude. Curious, right? I don't have Hulu access here, so I'm not really sure what Hulu shows are permitted to do. What is the ratings and such of their shows? Can they be as, say, dark as the Netflix Marvel stuff?
I think so. I just don't know that they are doing that. I mean, other than which we've talked about before, the animated shows. As far as I know, those are supposed to skew adult.
Okay, so there's a possibility that this Ghost Rider show could be a little bit darker than how he was presented in the S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
Oh, because it's going specifically to Hulu. Yeah. I think
all right, awesome.
The option. And his episodes on S.H.I.E.L.D. were dark.
Yeah, they were the darker ones. Absolutely.
I remember his introduction, the first guy he kills, like blood sprays on the side of the and it's like a lot. So it was obviously a different tone. I think when they did Ghost Rider on that show, that was them trying to go, here, we're going to pull some of that Netflix heat over here.
I'm hoping that that's what they do then with this Hulu one.
Oh, I hope so too. I don't know why they wouldn't. Why would you even do Ghost Rider if you couldn't?
It'd almost be just such a wasted opportunity.
If they could do it on ABC Family, what they did,
then
with
on
Ghost
Hulu
Rider,
you can do.
I'm sure
all right, cool.
Going to Hulu, they'll do more.
Okay, because that was my main thing.
Every episode, but it'll.
Cursing is not really necessary. The tone of the show, I'd like it for it to maintain. All right, awesome. I'm looking forward to most. I don't really know anything at all about Helstorm.
I know that it's a brother and sister who are like the son of the devil or something like that. They are good guys for some reason. That's as much as I really know.
Well,
I think in the show they're not saying that they're the children of the devil. I think they say the children of like a witch or something.
Okay, that's fine. Like you'd have to alter things like that.
pentagrams carved into their chest and weird shit. They're like full on like we're Satan spawn, but we're good guys for some reason. I don't know. DC's weird or whatever. Or not DC, but comics are weird.
Cool. That should be good. On top of the live action shows that Hulu is doing with Marvel, they're also doing some animated shows. Those ones are M.O.D.O.K.
Which we've talked about this already. We
Briefly.
talked about this when I broke.
Okay.
We talked about who was writing it and all that shit.
Oh, we did? Cool. So
M.O.D.O.K series, and it was going to all go into Offenders group show. But I think that one is supposed to be like a mini series. But we did talk about it.
Okay, cool.
Pat Oswalt's involved with it.
Right, awesome then.
Like a bunch of big people were doing it.
Well, that's good, man. I mean, I'm glad Marvel's doing all these, separate things.
But at the time, we hadn't heard anything about them doing more live action shows. So
right. So yeah, the live action one was definitely the primary thing.
You said it was GhostRider, Helstorm, and what else?
The Runaway season 3.
Runaway season 3.
Yeah.
Okay. But the cartoons had like Dazzler, M.O.D.O.K,
Tigra and Dazzler, Hitmonkey.
Hitmonkey was the other one.
Howard the Duck, M.O.D.O.K, and the Offenders. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they said when we talked about it before, those ones were supposed to be adult leaning. So hopefully all these can be that, and they can kind of turn Hulu into what they lost on Netflix.
On Netflix, like, right.
I don't think Disney Plus.
Disney owns Hulu, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so that's excellent.
I don't think they're gonna put any of those super dark shows on Disney Plus.
No.
If Hulu
I think that one's gonna be the more family friendly or PG at least.
I think that's great. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
Because that was, I think, the bigger concern that people had were, would they lose a lot of the more darker things? And I'm like, if they own these things, it wouldn't surprise me if they can just do it on their other things that they already own. It would make the most sense. I know, like, the cartoon that is going to be on Disney Plus is the What If.
That's not. I didn't think that was a cartoon.
They say it's animated.
Really? That's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, I was hoping. I read more into it. I was hoping it wasn't going to be a live action. The What If.
I mean, the animation is cool. If they take it seriously, then I'm into it.
It's slated for the first year.
What If, but they do it like anthology style and get a bunch of different directions and stuff. I think that's cool.
I think that's what. So far, it seems like. I'm assuming they haven't had any information, but because it's going to be What If based on the MCU characters,
right?
It'll be almost the What If of the MCU characters. So
yeah, it is that, because they said the first episode is what if Peggy Carter became Captain America instead of Steve Rogers, and so I thought that was going to be live action. I was like, "Ooh, how are they going to do that? Dude. Are they going to try and bring those sets up? What are they going to do?
That would have been something."
But animated, I'm like, okay, that's way easier to do. Then they can get Evans back to come in for.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Steve Rogers.
It wouldn't surprise me if they got the actual cast to just reprise their roles. Right.
Everybody else is getting serious.
Right. Exactly.
Just get as many people as you can, because they get to do it in their sweatpants. Why wouldn't they do it?
Exactly. I mean, recording in a booth, sure, you can end up, vocal cords and whatnot, working that out, but you don't have to be on screen at all.
Come on.
Yeah.
You don't got to do anything.
I wonder, right?
Check.
Do you think it would be like hand-drawn animation type stuff or CG?
I'm hoping that it's literally different every time. I want Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay. Oh, dude.
Yeah,
if it
I know
was
it won't
like
be that, but I want.
Okay. Now I'm annoyed because it's not going to be that. But
I won't be that. I highly doubt there'll be any like fully CG things. But I think it'd be tight if they anthology it. If it was literally different styles every time.
Oh my goodness, I'm quite.
Would be tight.
That it would be. Ooh, that would be so good. That would be so good. We've got a couple more Disney Marvel stuff, but before that, I think we should talk about that Sonic trailer.
Oh man. Fine, let's do it.
It's a 2-trailer episode, but
sure, man. What are your thoughts? We've both seen it.
Yeah.
It's got Jim Carrey in it. It's got Cyclops in it. It's got Ben Schwartz in it
as the voice of the Blue. Here's my thing, right? I was reading up further on that regarding that. With trailers, they send them off to like cinemas to show, right? Is that how it works?
They do, yes.
They didn't send this one.
Well, because it was the teaser.
Okay.
It's the first reveal. Those don't always go to cinema.
Okay.
But they're not. They apparently they're so early in the process that they're gonna change what he looks like.
Yeah. They have 6. They're still gonna release it on its release date, though, supposedly.
Yeah, but I mean, because everything else is live action, they can do that. If this was a fully animated thing, they wouldn't have been able to do it.
No. Although,
but because it's all live action except for one CGI character, it's a bit easier for them to do that, I imagine.
There was a bunch of I was reading a bunch of stuff on Twitter, and they were saying this is gonna be so much work.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we don't know how far along they were those effects. If he's the only heavy effect in it, then I don't think it would be that hard. It looked like everything else was pretty much practical except for the stuff.
Do you think this was do you think this was kind of like they just released this knowing that they had already changed it?
No. Why would they bother?
I don't know, but that's so weird.
Why would they even show it if they knew?
The weird thing regarding this was the director is still directing this, so if they approve what was released, how do we know it's gonna be better?
Because I think what they'll have to do is very simple. They literally only have to change the silhouette of that character, and people will pretty much leave them alone. Because the only real big difference between what they did with Sonic and what the Pokemon movie is doing is they put all the same high-res textures and all that shit on them, but they kept the silhouettes of all those Pokemon intact.
Every shape is still the same.
Didn't do that. That's why people are freaking the fuck out, is because the silhouette is so vastly different. If they change it up so he has his skinny legs and big feet and all that stuff, but he still has the same textures and everything, it's basically the same thing. I mean, his eyes look terrible, and I think his mouth was too humanoid. I think that's why they
said the teeth just was awful.
To me, it's whatever. I didn't go, oh, the teeth are throwing me off this whole thing. I think it's just kind of generally an ugly CGI character.
Yeah.
It looked sort of cheap, and really just it feels a little bit like when they made Mario. Like they're like, this is the character's name. We get that he's blue and he runs fast and he has a villain that vaguely is like this. But Mario is even worse, man. They just changed. Other than there's two plumbers, Mario and Luigi, they changed everything. Like Luigi's not even Italian. They made him Puerto Rican. He's adopted, and his name is Luigi Mario. And
that was so dumb when he said that. I was like, sorry, what? Mario?
Somebody went, why is it called the Mario Brothers if the guy's first name is Mario? Why are they both the Mario Brothers? Oh, okay, they're both of their last names are Mario then.
Oh my god.
It's stupid. It's a stupid joke, but it made me laugh as a kid.
It really did.
But I'm like, the Goombas looked ridiculous in that. They didn't look anything like the game in any aspect.
Koopa, everybody. They changed everything.
Just Dennis Hopper with like wavy hair or whatever. Like Yoshi was the most accurate just in that he was a dinosaur.
Yeah, right. He didn't look like Yoshi, but he was a dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like a dinosaur.
That's right. That's what I mean. Yeah. He looked like a dinosaur. He didn't look like Yoshi. He looked like a dinosaur, and Yoshi's a dinosaur. So they need to change the silhouette.
I feel like that scene where they show Robotnik finally, or Eggman, or whatever
at the end.
I feel like that's the last scene of the whole fucking movie. Is he looks like that, and he's been transported back to Sonic's world, and now he lives there, and he's the villain in Sonic's world, or whatever.
Do you know what's weird about that? Like this
everything.
Other than everything, seeing the Jim Carrey acting, I was like, are we in the 90s again?
As far as
the way his performance, it was very Riddler-esque almost.
Yeah. It sort of reminded me of his like Yumi and Irene phase, but it could have just been the haircut,
possibly. But that trailer was.
How does his mustache get longer at the end? Because it's all blown out, so he can kind of look like Robotnik more.
I don't know.
He's bald. I don't. This movie
is so confusing.
Don't stop doing these movies where you have to take the character out
and bring
of
him to our world.
Yeah, we know about. Why?
I don't know, dude.
Why?
I don't know. Couldn't they just
Just
make
do a sick CGI Sonic movie where the whole thing is in a Sonic CGI world, and then he doesn't have to look like a freak. He could just
be Sonic.
Be Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so weird.
Could you imagine a Sonic movie where they actually utilize 3D?
Oh yeah,
it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Let's not do that. Let's bring him to the real world.
Apparently, and like, I wanted to like it before we saw anything. So I was like, I like Tim Miller, man. Maybe he's got a good idea. He's not directing it originally. He was supposed to be directing it.
What's he doing now? He's doing Terminator, right?
Yeah, he's doing Terminator, but he still was an executive producer, and he was talking about the aesthetic of the character, and he was like, well, Sonic has to look like this because he's got to look like he fits in our world. And it's like, why?
No, he doesn't.
Like, it seems like literally from the trailer, he's not supposed to be from our world.
Yeah, he shouldn't look anything like he was part of our world.
Yeah, it just seems like a bizarre. It's like the Turtles thing all over again.
Yeah,
man. I'm just like, come on, stop it. What are you changing?
Yeah, don't change. I don't know why.
The Turtles should have looked like Sana Loco's fucking Turtles.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, if the new one looks like that, trust me,
it has to.
If it looks just like that,
be a concept guy. Get them to look like that. They should be shorter.
You don't know how happy I'd be, man.
You know?
You don't know how happy I'd be.
Don't get it. Stop messing around.
It's not difficult. The source material is right there.
Yeah, who knew the thing that we already liked would do well if you make it like we liked it? How weird.
So bizarre.
How weird.
So that's what we think about Sonic.
Yeah, anyway.
I'm curious what other people think. Yeah, the people watching. What do you guys think of the trailer? Continuing on with some of the news.
I did hear that Pikachu's movie
is doing quite well. Yep. I heard positive things about
that is
too.
Possibly
the best.
One good video game blip in the map of doo-doo.
Right. What a map, though. Whew.
What a doo-doo map.
Ooh, what a map. Can you even count on...
The guy responsible for my favorite video game movie is responsible for so many video game movies that I hate.
How did that happen, though?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
To me, that's so baffling.
Even the sequel to the one he made that I liked was doo-doo.
Right. Did he make that sequel too?
I feel like he did, but I don't know.
Did he have an accident between?
I don't know.
He's also making Monster Hunter, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know if
no.
What? The Monster Hunter thing?
Yeah, I'm just thinking back in the images that they'd shown before, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was directed by a different guy. I think because they went in so quickly.
Right, for this, yeah.
I don't think they could, because from what I remember, they literally started filming that like a couple months after the first one.
Okay. And they could. That's why they couldn't get some of the actors, because they're like, no, we're already on other things. We can't just drop it and film this.
$1 million budget.
How much?
30.
Wow. Yeah. That's nothing.
It's nothing, but it looks like
I was gonna say you got nothing though.
Yeah.
I'd need to watch it again. I think we should watch it when I go there.
Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
easy.
The second one. The second one too.
First Mortal Kombat apparently only had an $18 million budget.
That looked better though.
Looked way better.
Like that looked like a film.
Different direction.
That looked like a film.
Yeah.
The second one looked like an actual direct-to-DVD sequel.
Yeah, and they did a lot more practical effects in the first one. They did a lot of shittier stuff in the second one.
Yeah, this is the second one. Wow. Man,
that movie sucked. Anyway, what else?
Up next, so it is rumored that Beta Ray Bill and Qasar will appear in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
So I don't have a lot of Quasar knowledge. I don't even have a lot of Beta Ray Bill knowledge. I'm just more familiar with Beta Ray Bill.
Right. Quasar is another space thing.
Yeah, I know. I've seen his design a few times, but I don't think I've like read any of his books. But I mean, you got to be stoked about.
I'm
Beta Ray,
definitely stoked about Beta Ray Bill. And in linked with that, Hemsworth has renewed his contract for 2 more films.
Right, not necessarily 2 more Thor films.
No,
just 2 more films.
So it could be right now. Yeah, it could be that. That's probably, is that spoiler for Endgame?
What? Oh yeah. Well, probably.
But 2 more films, so that's good. Either way,
they definitely leave Thor in a place where he could do more things.
Absolutely. So, but 2 films, that's good. I'd like to see more of, it's because he was saying before, it's like, I'll do this role for however long. He loves it. So
yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if whatever he does after becomes successful, if he renews it again.
Yeah.
More of that would be good.
I agree.
So Dwayne Johnson recently
that?
had a meeting with Kevin Feige about possible role. Who would you want him to be? Who could
Ben
you
Grimm.
see? I was thinking that too.
Because if he's gonna look like The Rock in the black, be a CG character in
Your thing kind of cut off briefly. You'll have to repeat that.
I said if he's gonna look like The Rock in Black Adam, then it makes sense to have him be a CGI character. They can like mocap or whatever.
Yeah. So The Rock is now gonna be the Thing.
The Rock, yeah.
The Rock.
I think that'd be great.
Because there was there's other possibilities. I mean,
that's the first thing I thought of. I'm
Yeah.
sure he could play other characters.
would
But
you?
I think
Would
that
you
would be a good
like?
pick.
It would be weird if he was Namor.
They did set that up. Not him being Namor, but a Namor kind of thing for a while. I mean, I think Iron Man 2, they had Atlantis on the map.
What if he's Beta Ray Bill? Would he be down for the horse
Ray
face?
Bill, I don't think they'll make him a horse head.
Yeah, that's why.
I just don't see that happening.
That's why I would
But-
honestly rather they cast somebody else as Beta Ray Bill, because I want the fucking horse face.
The only reason I would want him to be Beta Ray Bill is if they're going to use like his body and just do like a CGI head replacement.
Of course.
Just so that so you're doing as little effects as possible. Then I think that's cool.
Yeah, so
And
he
I think
sounds
that
like
would
him.
He
He
I
sounds
think
like
he'd
him.
have good
Yeah.
chemistry with
Hemsworth.
Oh
yeah, dude.
and Pratt and that whole cast.
Everybody,
really.
any space guy right now, any space guy.
Yeah, and I think it's a small enough thing to where if he's going to go like be a franchise guy at DC, then have him be a side
because
character.
that's why when you said Grimm is good, because again,
Yeah.
mocap voice,
right.
great. That means you don't really see his face, but you're still getting Dwayne Johnson. Beta Ray
Right.
Bill, same way. Have a CG face, his body, his voice.
I like him. I would say I like him more as Beta Ray Bill than I like him as the Thing, only because part of me in my head, I'm like, and a little bit, we'll get there, but a little bit, I feel like they're losing the strong New York accent that I loved so much in Peter Parker. I think he's going more generic American now. I don't know if that's a conscious choice from the studio or just him doing more parts here with an American accent. He's losing the New York part. But I feel like the Thing needs to sound like a dude from Queens or whatever.
he needs to Raph from Turtles.
Yeah,
1.
exactly.
I haven't heard a character like that.
It seems like they're afraid. I always wish that they implemented that more with the Turtles in general. There is so much New York that I wish that they had incorporated that. Like I get have Mikey be
Right.
He likes the surf culture and shit, and he talks like a California dude, bro. That's fine. But I feel like the rest of them
Should have New
be
York. Yep.
a bit of a New York edge to them.
That's
In whatever flavor they
Yeah.
come in, you know.
It could be anything.
And I feel
'cause-
like Thing is the same way.
Yep, he has to be like homegrown New York
Right. That's what just in my head. If they change it and it's not that and it still works, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't say that's impossible. I just in my perfect version of what the thing is, and to me, if you're going to do an MCU version, it's like it should be closest to what the comic is, or why are you going to do it? So to me, I just want it to be New York version, but maybe his name more. I don't see them doing that just because they went Polynesian with Aquaman.
That's
I don't
why.
see them going.
That's why I was like,
let's do
don't
it
do
again.
that. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't see them
honestly.
doing that,
I'd love to see him as Beta Ray.
yeah, I think Beta Ray would be cool. I think that's
that'd be
the best
great.
use of his chemistry, especially because Black Adam's already a stoic character generally.
Yeah, you don't want another. You don't like again with Ben Grimm. I like the point that you brought up. I'd like a New York accent. Also, in regards to the Thing,
yeah,
Ben Grimm, you don't need like a really muscular dude.
You don't need it, but I think it is helpful for the other actors to play off of.
Sure, as Ben
like
Grimm, have him like be like he needs to look like he can handle himself, but
he's still a military man before
like
he goes
get some
in,
like
you
he
know?
doesn't have to be gigantic.
Right.
Get that accent though.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to go for a big dude just because it makes everything, it seems like, easier.
Yeah.
Like if they, not to say that they would, and not that they say that they should, but if they got somebody like Braun Strowman and they're like, you're the body double for the Thing so that people have something to interact with, you can pick someone up on set. We don't have to just have, them sit in a chair that's greened out or whatever. You can interact with people.
Yeah.
I think in a different way. And I'd like to see them do something like that. Like I don't think that the Thing needs to be as big as the Hulk. I think he could be as big as the Hulk.
I don't think he should be.
He has to be.
I don't think he should be.
I think he could be just a very large dude, like the Mountain, but covered in rocks.
Right, exactly. Because like if you look at Thing in the comics, well, in the proper anyways, he was never depicted to be super tall. He's essentially like maybe
he's
6 something. He's as wide as he is tall though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
A big dude.
He's just stature wise, but not like height wise. He was never like a giant of any kind.
Right.
So that'd be good. But yeah, Dwayne Johnson's in talks. I honestly, Beta Ray would be sick.
Beta Ray would be sick. I'm sure that they, even beyond the ones we've brought up, there's tons of characters from the MCU he could play. Maybe they're like, oh, he's MCU Luke Cage or something. I don't know.
Wow.
They could do any number of.
Could you imagine if they just decide to do that?
I think it'd be cool.
Well,
like
he appears in
Shang-Chi,
and he's Luke Cage.
Yeah, but like Iron Fist and Danny are already a team somewhere.
Right.
I think that would be fine. I don't imagine that's what they're gonna do. I'm just saying they could do that, and I don't think I would bat an eye at it. I wouldn't be like, oh, he's too Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Half of him is Hawaiian, half of him is the black dude. He can be Luke Cage.
Sure.
They already went super dark chocolate for the series.
Yep.
They don't have to do that again. They could
and since that's
different.
not technically linked at all,
right?
This one is.
I mean, again, I don't think they're gonna do this, but I'm just saying they have options. They don't have to. Granted, I don't want to see them do like the Rock as Blade or something.
Oh my gosh, no.
No, that'd be ridiculous. But I'm just saying they have lots of options as far as characters go.
Sure,
but Beta Ray Bill would be a cool one.
I'd like.
They'd have to really figure out his head design though to sell it where he's going to be talking to them and all this shit.
In the comics,
they have to come up with a hybrid.
The old school one, his mouth was definitely longer. I think more recently they've definitely pulled it back.
Right,
more like beakish. it's more beakish. It's like closer to the face, and it's just the mouth. I'm
just saying it's not gonna look if they cast the Rock, it's not gonna look like that. I just feel like they're gonna do something to the head to make him more humanized, just so that you can relate to him more.
Right.
Like people love Korg.
Yep, because he's got a human face.
Yeah, he's very humanized. He can emote and everything.
Rocket is
very
expressive,
different looking than the Rock guy that Thor demolishes in Thor 2. Even though they're supposed to be the same kind of creature. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it'd be cool though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad.
Nope, not at all. And onto the final thing of this episode, which is the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer.
Okay, this one we should say ahead of time. Spoiler warning.
Spoiler. Yes.
If you've not seen Endgame, GTFO. Or,
watch Endgame.
watch Endgame. So this trailer starts out with a spoiler warning from Tom Holland. He's literally like, if you haven't seen it, don't watch this because we give away a thing. And boy, do they. So this is your last warning.
Do. Yep, last warning.
Tony Stark, he dead.
He's gone.
So they have like murals and stuff, and they talk
everywhere,
about seeing him everywhere, and all this, and he looks very sad and tore up. And then they, Happy says to him, I don't think he would have done it unless he knew you were going to be here at the end of it, which is interesting. I'm sure it is. They did, allude that a lot of his motivation for getting that done was losing that kid.
Oh,
and
it crushed him, dude.
And so they cut to a scene from there showing Peter in action using the Iron Spider suit, still left over because they said that the other one is immediately after the return from Endgame.
Mm-hmm. They say this film takes place directly after Endgame.
And so the fight that they show of him like taking out some thugs, and I don't know where that area was. It almost kind of looked like the same place that he was giving the check from the first trailer, where him and Aunt May. So maybe that was happening at Feast or something. I'm not sure.
Or afterwards, maybe.
Yeah. But anyway, they show him taking out some thugs, and it very much looks like they're taking a lot of inspiration from the game. I was talking to my roommate about what happens when the games come out and then the movies come out. And between Captain America 1 and Winter Soldier, the Captain America Sega game came out. And the Captain America Sega game was based on the first Captain America movie, First Avengers. But they tried to make the combat in the style that Arkham did it. And they're one of the only games to me that has like successfully done it in that way. Like it feels like the freeform combat from Arkham.
Okay.
But if you were Captain America, you're throwing your shield, bouncing between guys, catching it, and it feels really good. And Chris Evans played that game and said, why doesn't Cap fight like this in the movies? Like he shouldn't be a better fighter in this game than he is in the movies. And
is that what happened?
Yes. As a result of them taking into account his fighting style in that game, Winter Soldier's combat was taken up to next level, and that combat was amazing.
Which is why it looked so darn good.
And I think that we're getting that as well, because between that last Spider-Man movie and this Spider-Man movie, that game was in development, and they've gotten to see all that and has come out. And you can see it in how he fights, the stuff that he's doing with the suit, how the poses he's hitting are from the game. Okay. Even there's a scene where he's in the stealth costume.
Sure.
And he's up against a wall and he turns around to look behind him.
Sure.
It's the exact same pose and framing from the game. If you're attached to a wall and you turn around to look behind you, it does the same thing. Like if they put out that stealth costume and I play it in a game, it will look 1-to-1.
Okay, well, interesting.
So I went back and I was playing it the other day. I was like, "Ooh, the trailer looks so good. I have to play Spider-Man PS4."
That's why you were playing it.
Yeah, okay, yesterday I got on and I was playing it because they have the Iron Spider suit and the Homecoming suit, and the lighting is so good that I was like, "Bro, I'm gonna go have this experience right now. I'm
gonna play what I'm just seeing,
what I've just seen." And if that movie got me hyped in the way, or that trailer, this more recent trailer got me hyped for that movie in a way that the first trailer didn't. I'm stoked for it. The one talking point that everybody's talking about now though is that Mysterio says that he is from a different world.
Yeah,
he's
when
from
the snap
Earth.
happened, he's from a multiverse.
Yeah, so they're expanding into multiverse is what at least we're being told.
But we know, because we've read comics, who Mysterio is.
Mysterio often full of shit.
Yes.
But
what if?
But I should say there is precedent for this kind of thing happening, because Mysterio in the comics as well, more recently even in the Ultimate Universe, they did a crossover called Spider-Men where Miles and Peter met each other. And they were fighting Mysterio from the Ultimate Universe. But in the fighting of Mysterio, they discovered that the Mysterio from the Ultimate Universe was a fucking robot being controlled by the Mysterio from the 616 universe the whole time. He never existed. So there'd been years of this Mysterio in the comics where he'd just been a facade controlled by the Mysterio we'd already known.
Is that weird? That's weird.
It is weird, but it's rad. But I think it'd be interesting if they could play off the multiverse thing and still say he's the Mysterio from another world. I think they could do that. That is in the comics. I just think it's more likely that he's the Mysterio from Full of Shit Town. Because he's
Mr. Liar.
Yeah, his whole character is I am full of shit. And his origin is he pretended to be a hero, put a bunch of people's lives in danger, and at the time he blamed it on Spider-Man and yada yada. But I think it will be that he is putting on this act at the risk of other people in order to act out this hero fantasy is what I think it will be. Kind
of like Syndrome.
Kind of, but more drawn out. Because I think Syndrome, they got to the point real quickly. He did one thing where he's like, "Look, I'm a hero," and then he basically.
I don't think the actual character disappeared in the snap. He was basically
Mysterio. You don't think Mysterio disappeared in the snap?
I think he was one of the survivors.
You think it's like him
within the past
doing like some sort of revenge plot to be a hero?
No, not really. Who knows? But like
that feels very Zemo.
Right. Not revenge, more so in the 5 years he's been cultivating this.
Oh, right. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
If he had been building up his superhero crap.
That's what I mean, like that whole time.
That'd be
because
great.
You have to think about it. Like, technology still existed when the snap occurred. There's not a lot of people anymore. He has access to a lot of these things now. Mm-hmm. He's a little younger, obviously. I don't know how old he's supposed to be, the character, but he was an adult already when it happened. 5 years. The time has passed.
Yeah.
We're talking spoilers here. I suppose it's fine to say. They're in the future now. I suppose it's like 5 years into the future. He's acquired because he still is. Could he still be a special effects guy? Who knows? But he had access to a lot of unguarded.
The thing is,
things
how do
machines.
You explain him getting past Fury? Because it can't just be
Fury disappeared in the snap though. That was the difference.
Fury was gone for the snap.
That's why it's like by him, I guess, snapping back with everybody else.
Yeah,
he's missed 5 years.
I just feel like
it's happened. Right.
What is the research team like in the Shield staff?
Probably not as good. Remember, they have to go all the way to Europe for this, don't they?
What I'm saying, bruh, they're dealing with aliens and shit. Mm-hmm. They got to be able to find out if Quentin Beck is a real guy.
See,
this is, in my opinion,
there's aspects in this trailer where like the.
But supposedly the chameleon's in this shit.
Right. Pete wearing again. We brought this up. How about if Chameleon is bloody? Is bloody? Nice thing. I don't know if he's Fury, but if one of the contacts, who knows? When Peter wears the glasses that I guess belong to Tony Stark, and his reaction was like, was he seeing something through the glasses? Because are the glasses technological based? They probably are.
You talking about the scene of him pulling the glasses off?
Oh, yeah.
So those were supposed to.
Those were Stark's glasses, correct?
Because I thought they looked like it, but I couldn't tell.
I've seen images. It's exactly the same one that he was wearing in Infinity War.
Okay.
Like, remember when he was wearing the thing and he was looking up at the? It's exactly the same glasses. So I'm thinking, those aren't just regular glasses. Maybe he sees what Mysterio really is. And that's why he was like, "What?"
Are you talking about like a They Live type of shit?
In a sense, almost.
I don't think it'll be that.
Not in a sense where he's like,
he'll be a Skrull or something.
No, that he sees what is underneath. Like, he sees
tech in there.
He sees what these elementals are made of.
Possibly. And I don't know. It seems like they're in a car or some shit during that.
Right. I don't know.
I feel like those glasses are just going to be Tony's glasses, and that he wears them because Dad had cool glasses. But I don't know if other than having a UI, I can't imagine.
I'm just curious what that UI actually allows him to see and whatnot.
Probably nothing more than his suit would. He's got the same shit in that.
Will we be hearing Jennifer Connelly's voice in a suit again, do you think, or no?
I'm sure they can figure it out. I love Jennifer Connelly. I do. And
or do you not want that?
Having that Easter egg of she's married to Vision, and Vision was that as well. I think that's great. I don't think that Spider-Man should have a UI that he can talk to. Though.
In agreement with you. As neat as that was, very, very neat.
Yeah,
Spidey should.
Yeah, I think
fly solo.
I think I get why it could be useful in a movie where you're basing a character that normally talks to himself. He has a lot of internal monologue, caption bubbles and shit. It gives him someone to bounce off of, so he doesn't have to have all his dialogue with people. But I just don't like it. I don't like it because they're leaning heavy into Spider-Man as Iron Man Jr. now.
I don't want this trailer seemed to be leaning.
Yeah,
really
it's leaning very
that.
heavily into
also,
that. And I get it, but I super don't like it.
This is actually the first time anybody's referred to her as Captain Marvel.
Right, as either of them, because nobody refers to Shazam as Captain Marvel either.
Right, but this is the first
Shazam.
The fact that he says, "What about Captain Marvel?"
Yeah,
is literally the
calls
first.
Them Captain Marvel.
Is literally the first time. It's amazing, but that was like, oh, cool.
I wasn't fazed by that.
I wasn't, but I was just like, oh, finally say it.
It's just she never got the moniker, so
No.
I don't know why he called her that.
Right, that's why it was weird, because I was like, oh.
Unless that is her internal name, but they didn't even see that. This is where I feel like they fucked up. Okay, so spoilers for Captain Marvel, because fucking whatever. On the side of her ship is called, or on the side of her plane.
We brought this up.
Avenger.
We brought this up, and we.
It should have just said Captain. It should have just said Marvel or Captain Marvel on it. Then you don't have to deal with any of that. That was her fucking call sign, but you were like, we have to, so that Nick Fury can call them the Avengers based on her. It was too thirsty of a fucking grab,
dude. All the grabs was way too. I was like,
a lot of weird. Bro. There's a lot of questionable.
And also the thing that said, that's what that film was so bizarre, because it's like that's why they call you Ace, and I'm like, is it Ace? Is it Avenger? Is it Marvel?
Who called her Ace?
Her best friend.
They call her Ace?
No, her best friend in that film was like, she was the Ace. She was like, she was the Ace pilot. That was her call sign.
Was Ace.
And then on the side of the plane, it said Avenger. And I was like...
I feel that had to be a last minute
call. Of course. All this was blood. That film was... Anyways.
It really was. They didn't get any time to do it. Like, as much as I want to hate and yada, they made a funny movie.
Dude,
they made some interesting choices. But they didn't have any fucking time to do that.
I just watched this...
filmed all the in-game shit beforehand. So they didn't even know who that character was in in-game before they threw her in the rest of this shit.
There was this video that I watched earlier from another YouTuber, Nando V Movies. Do you subscribe to him?
I do not.
Okay. He did this thing where what he does is he'll change one thing. He'll change like an aspect of a film and why he thinks it would improve it better. And I would recommend you watch his latest one regarding Endgame. Yeah, it was regarding Endgame and how it would have elevated specific characters more instead of, and it still would have utilized everybody in that. But it was in regards.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's real. I was like, I watched it. I was like, dang, that was. I mean, the scene was neat already in the film. But this made it so, like, this little change would have made more sense character-wise for the characters we'd already seen, but it would also make that scene make more sense. And I was
agree.
like, yeah. But anyways.
I will check it out.
In this trailer, there was like, I mean, you get to see more of Mysterio, which was neat. I think his suit looks cool. He seemed like a cool character-wise. I don't know what's going on with this film. They showed, I guess they're on holiday now, what? They're on vacation, like a school vacation
they said it's
trip.
A vacation. It's like a summer trip. So I think that's safe, because then if they're at school, then you have to explain which characters are older and focus more on that because some of them won't be there.
Well,
But
it's
if they're
interesting
on
because
summer vacation, none of them have to necessarily be the same age.
right, and the thing
They could
about
just be happy to see their friends
right,
again.
but in regards to that,
Yeah.
I think I watched an interview earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It was they were interviewing, I think either the writers of Endgame or the directors. I forget because I watched a handful right after, like within the past couple of days.
And
They
said
brought up,
for sure some other friends are older.
well, they brought up, and it's like they're classmates.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are the ones that obviously came back from the snap. Some of
Mhm.
them obviously will not be their classmates anymore because they're already 5 years older.
Mhm.
Some of the classmates will actually be people who had grown up. Like they were kids. They were younger,
Right.
obviously, before the snap. And now
Right.
they are their age.
Right. They have to deal with
Yes,
that. Like
they have to. That's
like
why you'll have
the
some new
tall
students.
Asian kid
Yeah,
that we
he was never
saw
there.
in the first one.
Nope.
I feel like he was probably that Asian kid that was in the window that saw Ned outside when they were in school, and
Yeah.
he was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "We're in here playing chess."
And that would be
I
great.
feel like he's the same kid, just
Mhm.
now he's in college.
That would be great. And I was like, because that'd be an interesting callback. I don't
There
think
was-
they'd have to refer to that, but
Like, there's some things I'm curious about, like
Right.
how they're gonna get to like Ned and fake Gwen Stacy are dating now.
right.
And like part of that made me think that Ned didn't get snapped
Right.
because there's a scene right before he gets tranked by Nick Fury where he was like, "Oh, that reminds me of the first time I fell in love," or something like that, and then he gets knocked out.
So
And I was like,
Ned's
I wonder
Ned's legit
wonder if-
5 years older.
yeah, if he's continued to live his life, he's had more experiences than
Wow.
Peter. I wonder that. I don't know that that's
Right.
necessarily
If that's the
the case,
case,
but because of that line, I'm
Do you
curious.
feel that they probably should have made him look a little bit older?
I think that they could have changed his look a little bit more,
Yeah,
but I
like
also
the hair or
understand
something?
why you wouldn't.
Right.
I understand why you wouldn't, but I mean, I understand how you could though, because that kid is bald in real life. You
That's
can do
why.
whatever you want
Yeah,
with his
yeah.
hair.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I don't know.
And then the whole MJ thing. What was like?
So it sounds like she's onto the Spider-Man thing,
is
which I
that-
thought was a weird thing for them to give away in the trailer.
Mm-mm-mm.
Unless I don't know.
What if we actually
Yeah.
see like, okay, she's MJ, Michelle.
Mhm. Yeah.
Would they ever actually be like, oh yeah, she's MJ, Michelle, but we're gonna show you Mary Jane? Would they do that?
I doubt it. At least I doubt it'll happen anytime soon. Like I feel like if we meet MJ Mary Jane, she'll be like a character in Miles's story when they get to Miles eventually. Because like they've set up the Michelle thing and they went out of their way so hard to drop that MJ Easter egg at the end. Like this is us doing something different. I don't think they will. Like they could introduce a Felicia Hardy because to me that's the one they should do because
Felicia.
that's the one that they haven't touched on. Then she's the only big love in his life that they've not touched on at all.
And
I mean,
I don't think at this point they will.
Said
Though.
the name Felicia in Amazing 2, but that was it. They didn't even say have her be Black.
I don't
Cat or
think they would because if Sony still plans on doing their
who knows if they fucking are.
right.
Who knows if they
That's
are.
why I'm like,
But it's such a waste because like I think the Spider-Man game
this is the best
also-
version.
is another good thing to have happened because then they can see how she was handled there, and it's obvious how you could use a character like that against a kid because
Yeah.
he's a kid now. And it
Yeah.
was always cool to me that Felicia was a bit older than him,
Yeah,
like a
little
bit
bit.
more
Yeah.
wise and experienced.
Mhm.
But she doesn't know that about Peter.
No, 'cause she thinks it's
he's got
Spider-Man.
the full mask.
It's Spider-Man
She-
also.
she falls in love with the costumed Spider-Man, not the Peter kid.
Nope.
Once she finds out that it's him, she's like not interested at all. And I think that is an interesting dynamic to go into. So I don't know. I kind of still feel like I hope that they meet a girl while they're in Europe, and he's like, oh, now I got some choices to make. You know, he's so for sure about Michelle that I hope he meets
Right.
Felicia.
Felicia. They could do Felicia, man.
I want it real
They could
bad.
do,
And like I hope for whatever the third Spider-Man movie is, fucking Home for the Holidays or whatever it is, that they let him have a bit more of an independent story. Like I get it. We fought for this motherfucker to be in the MCU. Everybody wanted it. But I feel like being in it and being all about it are two different things.
Absolutely.
And so far, all Peter's stories are very encased in it all has to do with my connection to the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it right now. It makes sense off of the first one and going into the second one, what this movie had to deal with that. It had to. But I hope for his third movie that he gets to be his own guy. And even if you're still in that universe, that the story itself is more self-contained. Because even his villain in the first movie, he was like, I exist because of the fallout of some Avengers thing. I think that's why it makes me hope that even though it's like they've already said that it is the case because he's part of our universe because of the snap. That's them saying this villain exists because of something the Avengers did. So I just hope that in the third movie that if they like do Sinister Six or Venom or whatever the thing is, I hope it's self-contained, not just like the Avengers did something and now I have to deal with it because I'm part of the MCU now. Just I get it, he's there, but give me just a Spider-Man story. It doesn't have to be MCU plus their Spider-Man now,
right?
You know what I mean?
Do you think with the Spider-Man films,
yeah,
how many do you think they're planning?
He said for sure that they signed him on to do 3.
So 3 fully. Okay.
Yeah, 3 Spider-Man movies, not just appearances of Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah, one that would just be about Spider-Man would be good. Because right now, you're definitely correct. He is definitely still Spider-Man, but he's very Iron Jr.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary to sell it, you know?
I mean, when you think about his, like, the origins of the character, he was never an Iron Man light.
No, like
up until only recently. Yeah.
He admired who he was,
sure,
and how smart he was.
But he never based his whole.
Even the Iron Spider thing, that was something that, and I wish that they had used it that way because then we could have been kind of over and done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should have done that. I get why they didn't, because then you can do Iron Spider. He's in space and he gets to have this crazy adventure with the Avengers. This is his Avengers gear or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think they should have done it the opposite. I think they should have given him that Iron Spider suit in Civil War because that's where the suit originated. I think they should have said, "This is your suit. I need your help. This will protect you against my friends who are really strong friends."
And then his actual suit is one that he.
Yeah, I think that Homecoming suit should have been him going, I don't need all those bells and whistles, man. That's not who I am. This is my middle ground of like, it's still got the cool web shots and stuff. I got all my gadgets, but I don't need the legs. I don't need the armor, all that. You know, I feel like that would have been the way to go. Then they could have had him have his Spider-Man look in Infinity War and Endgame, which to me would have been more impactful if he's with Captain America and Thor and he looks like Spider-Man.
Can you imagine that?
That's just, to me, I feel like how they should have done it. I think it would have been, because in the comics, he gives him that suit as a like, you should join my side.
Yes.
I could really use your help, and I don't want you going on Cap's side. Look how much we have in common. It was a little more underhanded. But I like that. Because then it also meant when Spidey realized he should have been with Cap and he turns sides, that Tony locks the suit up and tries to encase him when it was a little underhanded. And I get why they couldn't do that, but I missed that aspect.
I actually just missed the whole, this is my suit.
Yeah, I want it to have him in it. That's why I hope. Now, we know he's getting another costume, and they haven't said where that's coming from. But this new black one, I hope that that's kind of him and Shuri working together or something.
That would be nice.
What do you want out of this suit? And
I have a feeling, honestly, at this point, I have a feeling that it's another thing from Stark.
It very well could be like, oh, I saved this one for you, kid. But what would be the point? He's already he's got to.
So he's given him 3 suits.
Right. There's got to be a reason he's not using that Iron Spider.
Maybe he couldn't bring it on his trip. That's the only reason.
That makes sense. Yeah, you can't bring the big metal one through with you. I get it. But there's got to be a reason for him to go to the black suit at the end. If that's the case, and he's going to bring the black suit back.
Oh, we're not even mentioning the stealth suit.
Well, the stealth suit is obviously
just a
Nick
shield.
Fury puts him on a mission, and it's his shield outfit. But the suit that he's wearing at the end, the black and red one, there's got to be a way to get back to that. Yes. I hope they don't just like, now he's in New York, he's got a black suit. Let's not talk about where it came from. It's a cool new action figure you can buy. I hope that's not it.
I really do miss that one aspect of the Raimi Spider-Man where the suit is just he made that suit.
Yeah, but
devil's advocate. I know, but what I mean by he made that suit,
he drew the design.
Yeah,
and they took the web shooters from him, so he did very little.
Right.
As far as now, I showed up and my suit's awesome, even though when I designed it myself, it was sweatpants and a balaclava.
I just mean like where it wasn't just like, because in this MCU version, that Spider-Man suit, the one that the comic, the one that's at least looks like the comic one, that's Stark.
For sure. That's why I think the ones that have handled the best, even though they're a little bit maligned now, is
Amazing.
The first Amazing. Yeah. Because he looked up on the internet what he could make it out of.
Exactly. That was such a cool aspect.
They show him building the web shooters.
That was such a cool aspect.
That was missing from these new Spider-Man.
Because that also showed how smart
and they a little bit they gave us that in Homecoming with him like doing the web fluid.
Right. Yeah.
But getting his origin of him coming up with it and all that stuff, we've not gotten to see that. So it's a little bit of a bummer that we won't get any of those moments with Tom Holland Spider-Man. Maybe they'll give it to us with Miles someday.
I don't even know at this point, but whatever.
But to me,
otherwise, the trailer looks fun, man. I mean,
I like that Happy's in it.
Yeah, Happy's great. I'm glad. It's so cool because it's like, dude was there from Iron Man 1, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that Flash still a fan of Spidey. Like, even when Favreau comes up and he's like, "I work with Spider-Man," he's so excited to be like, "You work with Spider-Man?"
He said, "You work for Spider-Man."
Yeah,
he's like, I don't work for
Spider-Man?
I work with.
He was just so excited to know someone who knows Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's still an asshole to pay it
Love him getting the nut shot. I don't know who ran by and punched him in the nuts, but it was funny.
Okay. Also, here's the thing, right? Okay, we got the snap. If this particular character lived through the snap, he'd be older now. Miles would be older now, wouldn't he?
Yeah, 5 years older.
Yeah,
and they never said how old he was
exactly.
in the first one. They just said my
nephew,
baby nephew, or whatever.
If he was say 10,
yeah, he could be 15 now, and I think that's cool to me. I don't even want to touch on it.
Right. I know. Because
I don't know what they're gonna do, but I am curious if they'll ever bring.
I think it's neat.
Back as Prowler.
Right. An older Prowler too. Who knows? I think that's an interesting. That's obviously like so underlying type thing. It's not like in the forefront.
Maybe they'll have Peter die in the third one fighting the Sinister Six, and a young kid will see it. Maybe his uncle is part of the Sinister Six. Maybe Prowler's in it or some shit like that.
Would you be okay if they just killed him that already?
That early?
Yeah. I'd be honestly. I would be.
It happens
bummed.
when Peter's still young.
I'd be bummed though.
I get it, but in the books it's accurate. Peter's only 17 when he dies in the Ultimate books.
Right.
It's tragic because he's a young kid. He didn't get a full life. He was protecting the world and died at a young age doing it. And I that made it more impactful. But it would be a bummer to lose Tom Holland that early, but also like so far all the Marvel MCU guys only get
younger and
they only get a trilogy and then
or more if you're lucky.
They've only been trilogies.
Yeah, that's true.
No one has got a fourth movie.
That's true. No one's got a fourth
They've
film.
been in other movies, but no one has got a fourth movie. They're all trilogies, and then they have Avengers appearances.
That's true.
So if they do a trilogy and then like even an Avengers, whatever new Avengers is, I don't know. We'll see what they do. It's a different beast because it's Sony. It also depends on how long they want to keep that deal going. So
I don't know, man. If this, I just hope like with the deal regarding the character, they don't get like, we don't need the MCU anymore. We could do this on our own.
they're already doing that with the Spider-Verse stuff, and I say like keep doing that. That's fine.
For that,
They're
sure.
doing it with Venom. They're
You've
doing
got
it
the
with
right
Morbius.
people working on the Spider-Verse stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's
they got
for
an
sure.
Oscar for that. They
Yeah,
didn't get
yeah.
an Oscar for live action Spider-Man.
I just hope they don't bloody go, oh yeah, we know what we're doing now. As execs, we're going to make changes. Like, no, let them do what they're doing. They're the ones that won the award, bro.
Right, and I'm also like, take some of those fucking notes. Like,
Yes.
make the live action ones as impactful.
Exactly. Because your live action could be amazing.
They could be. You've got the right. You've got the right ingredients.
Yeah, you've got the ingredients. Your
Just need
preparation is
proper
just
seasoning,
garbage.
man.
Exactly. But your preparation is not good. The guys who worked on the animated one, they knew what they had, so they were like,
They salt baited.
we're gonna cook something good here.
They did it.
We're gonna cook something
Anyway.
good. That
Looks
trailer,
good to me.
it does. I was already looking forward to it. Obviously, you were. This film is out in July.
Yeah, I am confused by it though because it's now dated. I don't know if it got pushed up a couple days or what's
It's
going
July
on with it.
2,
But
right?
it's saying that it comes out July 2nd.
Yeah, it's July
Which
2nd,
is-
bro.
which is a Tuesday.
Hey, man, why not? Accept it.
It's random as shit. No movies come out on fucking Tuesday.
Well,
they come
this-
out on Friday or they come out on Wednesday.
This one
if they got
does.
black
Is there
people in
anything
it.
else like important
pretty
coming
much
out
it.
that week?
I have no. I think they're just trying to inflate the July 4th numbers, the July 4th weekend numbers.
Oh,
They're
right.
saying if we have it come out earlier in the week, then July 4th weekend it made blah blah
Yeah,
blah
okay,
blah because it had a couple extra days. But it means that we got tickets for Thursday, thinking Thursday was opening night, and so now I'm gonna probably go during the day on Tuesday because I want to see it right away.
Nice.
Or during the day Monday or something.
Sure,
Be
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
Monday
yeah.
Joy, gonna go watch Spider-Man.
All right, so
I'm not waiting, cuz I'm not waiting.
that's true. In regards to the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
I think up to this point, Endgame it's number 2 now in box office revenue.
Right, because they were hitting a billion point
Billion
five
numbers.
in the first week or some shit.
Do you think it has a chance of being number 1?
Well, what was Avatar? 2 billion?
Let's look that up
2
right
point
now.
something billion?
Bucks.
Because Avatar, it didn't do like a crazy opening weekend. It just had legs forever. People kept
That's
going.
that's the thing. That's the Avatar. I was looking it up earlier, and their second, third week, fourth week, fifth
Right.
week, they were still making up in the
Yeah, they were still
mills.
number one everywhere.
Yeah. That's why it's tricky. Like second week for Endgame wasn't the number 1 second week.
Right. It's not going to have the same legs. It's long as fuck, and it's all fan service. So it's just not going to have the same legs as Avatar. So I feel like the only way it beats Avatar is if they re-release it at some point, or if they do, or if there's other places that hasn't opened yet that could have big openings. But I don't know where that would happen. I think they tried to do it like globally, pretty much everywhere at the same time.
They're definitely gonna try to re-release that, most likely before Avatar 2.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like Avatar number 1 came out fucking forever ago. I think it was delayed. I think the sequel was delayed 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie itself has to be over a decade ago, right? Like 2006 or some shit. 2008. It came out the same year as Iron Man and Batman Begins. That's nuts.
2009.
2009. Okay.
Okay, so right now,
So right now
Avatar-
it is a decade old.
it's a
It
decade
was
old.
supposed to come out. I thought the sequel was supposed to come out 2014 originally.
Supposed to be. Okay, so Avatar worldwide box office is 2.7 billion.
Oh, then I don't think it's touching that shit anytime soon. I don't think Avengers is touching that because they have to make another $1 billion.
Avengers Endgame right now is 2.2.
Oh, maybe then. I thought they hadn't hit 2 yet. I thought
No,
were
no,
still
they
1.0.
passed the 2 this weekend.
Oh, then yeah. The Avatar is 2.7?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're only a fucking week in.
2 weeks.
Still.
Yeah.
Still. That shit's not even in theaters everywhere it can be in theaters yet.
Yeah.
I think it could touch that.
I want it to. I personally would love it.
I feel like people would have to campaign. It'd have to be like, okay, everybody, we're gonna decide to beat Avatar. Let's go see fucking Avengers 6 more times.
I mean, it's definitely already past. It's Titanic's off already. It beat Titanic.
Okay.
So it sunk the Titanic, is what people are saying.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was the weekend. The second week drop off was, I think, 70% or something.
Well, it's a long fucking movie, man.
Yeah,
and everybody that wanted to see it
already saw
that shit immediately, so they wouldn't get it spoiled. So I'm not surprised.
No, it doesn't. I was like, no.
There's still time though.
That does not surprise me. But no, it's killing it. So we'll see. I'm like, if it reaches it, I think it's possible. It have to still make constantly. It'd have to make millions per week.
I'm still blown away that Captain Marvel hit $1 billion. So
no, to me that's actually
do anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To me, that's what baffles me, because I'm like, other than people who watch these MCU films, I don't know anyone else that's ever talked about that film.
Oh, I've heard of people talking about it. It's weird to me, but I've definitely heard people talking about this movie like it was something that I just didn't see. But at the same time, I'm like, bruh, did I think it was more fun to watch than Wonder Woman? I think I did think it was more fun to watch than Wonder Woman. I don't think it's a better movie, but I thought it was more fun to watch. And that movie made $1 billion. So
that's true.
On that note, I'm like, yeah, I get it. If people were that excited to see DC's first try at it, then I imagine that people would be even more excited to see Marvel's first try.
Especially when it's like the end scene of Infinity War hinted at that. You're like,
man.
I'm
it was
hella
the last,
curious.
It's the last episode before the finale. You're gonna go see it.
It's the go home show, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
How do you not?
You gotta be like, oh snap, what's going on? But then I recently just spoke to a couple of people who were like, oh, I finally decided to watch Captain Marvel before I went to watch Endgame. I was like, what do you think? It's like, I don't think it was necessary. I didn't really get it.
It wasn't a necessary piece. Except for if you're like, how does she know Fury?
Yes,
that's the only thing that you'll get.
But that's the thing. I was like, and in the end, it's like, it could have been like a 10-minute short, and it would have been exactly the same. I would have got exactly the same thing.
Except
in regards to what she does.
Carol Danvers, or you want to see a flirkin. People like flirkins, man.
It's true.
People like fucking flirkins. Not fucking them, but
no, that's
they just like them generally.
It's the Cthulhu cats? No.
Yeah.
No.
Come on, that's got to be huge in Japan.
A Cthulhu cat?
Yeah. It's got to have its own genre on Pornhub by now.
Oh.
Anyway, that's everything, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it for this episode. You should be seeing also artwork happening here.
Oh, right. There's artwork happening. We've not mentioned that.
Well, I mean, we don't have to because you've been watching that. So
yeah, there's going to be pieces that involve things that we've talked about today. So that should be a pretty clear indicator.
No doubt.
Are you going to, for this piece, are we going to do the designs? I mean, like actual designs, or you just want to make it up?
I'm gonna make it up.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna make it up.
Yeah, okay, because I was like, I don't have a reason not to draw the Gabriel Luna version of Ghost Rider, but I kind of just want to make up a Ghost Rider.
Right, let's make it up.
Because I assumed you were going to make up a Beta Ray Bill.
I'm definitely making up a Beta Ray Bill.
Design what he would have looked like in the MCU.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
If The Rock plays him.
Well, he's not going to have a. He's going to have a horse.
Yeah, he won't have
bro.
a face, but you'll have to figure out what that will look like.
Hey, his armor is going to look like whatever, like MCU-ish Thor. What's up?
What would you give him? Stormbreaker?
See, that's tricky.
He had Stormbreaker in the comics.
He did. It
looked very different. It was
a very, very different weapon.
Yeah, very different look.
there's been a couple of various weapons. We'll see.
We'll see. All right.
We'll see how it goes.
Sounds good. Well, until the next one then, guys. Stay chipper, chaps.
Stay chipper.